Tips and tricks on all the maps in Season 3. Tundra Run. For the middle boxing glove section, you position yourself towards the right side, and once the first boxing glove goes back in, that's when you proceed forwards. The third boxing glove has a bit of a delay, so be wary of that. And you just keep running until you pass all the gloves. All you have to do is hug the wall while holding your joystick upwards and to the right. Or if you're on keyboard, hold W while holding D. And the thick bunkers shouldn't hit you at all, they shouldn't even graze you. To get blown by the fan, you position yourself to the middle, or you can use the stripes as reference. You should stand on the third pink stripe from the left, and then once you've reached the edge, dive and let the fan blow you forwards. For this uphill section, instead of going in the opposite direction from the fan, run to where the fan will be instead. And if you catch it at the start, it should only blow you back to the wall, and then you can proceed forwards. If you get the variation with the flippers, you can actually get straight flung to the finish line by diving in between two flippers. This still works as of Season 6.5 or Season 6.3. FREEZY Peak. This is an incredibly straightforward map. If you spawn on the left side with the boxing gloves, you can actually sidestep the flippers by hugging the wall. The yeetus in this map isn't something that will give you inherently a huge advantage, but it is still valuable to learn. Position yourself to where this hot air balloon and small cloud is directly in front of you, and once you see the yeetus facing directly downwards, you jump while moving forwards and you should get yeeted. However, another much easier technique is to jump all the way down, and once you're about to touch the blades, you jump and you should get thrusted upwards. Once you reach the boxing glove section, you can jump dive over the flippers, but do be careful because you could activate the flipper and you could get knocked off. Make sure you have enough momentum before you jump dive. Right when your character is about to touch the pink strip, that's when you start to jump dive. This is very easy to do, but the more people do it, the harder it becomes. Snowy scrap. Navigate the snowball to a punching glove as soon as possible. If you see someone try and go for your snowball, grab them and prevent them from going after your ball. However, if you are the grabber, try and push the opposing team's snowball towards the wall. They will have a hard time trying to get it out. Putting pressure on the other team by stopping the snowball is a valuable skill to have, but please let one person do the grabbing duties. 3 people should be moving the snowball. If you have a great lead, maybe one other person can go and put pressure on the other team. Just make sure you get that snowball to the glove ASAP, because if you're in last place, both teams may target you. However, if you get the variant with the spinner in the middle, do not go to the glove. Try and avoid the center as much as possible. There's also a variant with golden snow in the center that gives you more points, so scoop them up as soon as possible. And all I can say really is good freaking luck, because you will need it. PEGWIN pursuit. The biggest mistake I see people doing is that they are tunneling on one PEGWIN when there are tons of people doing the same thing as well. This is what causes them to lose. Instead, try and find another group that has less people surrounding them and try to take their PEGWIN. There are 3 PEGWINs in this map. Don't just try and lust over one. Always be on the lookout. Turn around. Jump over people. Use the walls as a way to get away from people, and just generally be nimble. If a team member has a PEGWIN, be their bodyguard and make sure no one gets near them. Grab would-be players who try to steal your teammates' PEGWINs. The technique I'm about to mention could be patched or is already patched. If you go to a fan and just stay there, no one can steal your PEGWIN. It's near impossible to grab them. I would recommend not relying on this and just learn to juke others and use the environment around you to your advantage. If you do see a golden PEGWIN, that is worth double points, so definitely try and prioritize getting a golden PEGWIN. Ski fall. Depending on the variants, there are ways to qualify fast. If you get the normal variant, go on the sides and drop down until you get to the end and use the fan to blow you to the smallest basket, which is worth 5 points. And do that 2 other times until you qualify. This is the best way to qualify. If there is something blocking the side like a bollard or flipper and you have to take the regular way, or you want to take the regular way, if a ring is right in front of you, instead of jump diving and risk the chances of ragdolling, instead just dive. You won't ragdoll and you can get up faster. If you get the boxing glove variant, stand on top of the glove and jump right when the glove is about to shoot up, and you'll be shot up sky high, and you could get a ring or jump over the entire thing. Snowball survival. Depending on the variation, this map is either dead simple or really difficult. For the variant where every other tile is an ice tile, or more commonly known as the more tiles variant, staying in the edges is your best bet to surviving on this map. If you do get the save center variation, that's a different story. However, keep your eye out on the snowball, and if it moves close to you, still stay on the edges, but move to another section by jump diving over the ice tiles. Really, only move to another side when you can be sure it's safe to do so. While you can run on the ice tiles, which will get more people knocked out, but that also includes you, so really be careful when doing this, because you and everyone else will have a less chance of surviving. surviving. However, it is a great strat to use during any variant, excluding the more tiles variant. Panning your camera to check for spots and to know where the snowball is key to surviving on this map. And being able to read or predict where the snowball goes is a good skill to have as well. A strategy that is kind of useful is that you jump on the wall and just run on it. If you did it properly, you should just be on the edge of the glass running. However, you can slip off while doing this and players can destroy the tiles underneath you. So while this strat is decent, I don't recommend it as much of a late game strat, but in the early game, it's alright. Roll off. In the early game, try to stay away from people as much as possible. While grabbing and pushing others have been severely nerfed, it's much harder to do, but it is still possible to do as of season 6.5 or season 6.3. All you have to do is grab them, and when the gap comes towards them, let go and they should fall down. Panning your camera while you're moving is critical, especially during the later part of the game. Learning the patterns and how the rings move is something that will take a lot of time and failures, but here's some things I can tell you. In late game, whenever you see 3 rings or 3 little gaps you have to jump over, the 4th ring usually has a wall. When you see the wall, move on to the other side. Make sure you're constantly moving your camera and yourself. If you see that a ring takes a long time to appear, get ready to go to the other side because a ring with a wall is about to appear. If you're getting value out of this video, consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. Jump Showdown. One of the best things to learn in Jump Showdown is how to top grab. Top grabbing is where you quickly grab somebody, and when the lower beam is about to hit them, you let go and jump over the beam. They won't be able to jump over the lower beam just because you grab them, and then they will get shoved into the slime. The best time to shove someone into the lower beam is when there's 2 tiles left. Once you see the beam is about to approach you, quickly grab somebody and then let them go. Usually the game will try and put the last 2 tiles together rather than separate them. It does happen, but not as often. So top grabbing is an essential skill to winning a Jump Showdown in the year 2022 and beyond. If however you're on a tile that is about to fall down, you can jump on the pole and make your way to the other tile. This is incredibly difficult to pull off. This is called pole jumping, and I've only managed to do this once. But what I can tell you is try and jump onto the right side of the pole. You might as well try this out since you're about to die anyways. The 2 beams will make a wall that is near impossible to pass through. Staying on the right side of a tile is your best chance of survival. Keep your eye out on the upper beam, and once you see the 2 beams almost start to form a wall, that's when you cross it and then jump. Usually towards the later part of the game, you'll have to jump 5 or 7 times over the lower beam before you have to cross the upper beam. Stay near the right so you'll have more space to move to the left if need be. And really it's all about keeping an eye out on the upper beam because that's what usually gets people killed just because their lack of spatial awareness. And when the shadow is about to loom over you, that's when you jump over the lower beam and you cross to the right. Thin ice. You can try and create murder holes or potholes in the floor for unsuspecting players to fall into. And as of season 6.5, you can stand on 3 tiles and create massive holes for people to fall into. Try and see where large groups of people are going and see if you can avoid them by going to the opposite direction or into a little corner, a little island where people won't suspect you doing anything. Do note that people will try and go where you are, so always be on the move by sprint jumping or running while jumping. Hand your camera to see possible locations and places you can be. Being nimble and quick thinking will get you the win on this map. This could be heavily nerfed in the future, but you can jump multiple times on one tile, usually 3 to 5 times depending on how fast you actually press your jump button. I cannot state the importance of this. Do not be near the edges. Some people will try and shove you into the slime. While grabbing has been nerfed a little, it's still possible to do so. This is a bit of a risky strategy, but you can get rid of people by being on the same tile as them and grab them as the tile is cracking and then jump away. You could die doing this, but it is an option. Make sure you're not staying in one place for too long because people will try and cut you off from the rest of the tiles. Also, make sure to always be hopping on one tile to try and preserve it as much as possible. Parkouring and jumping on tiles that are spread apart while being able to quickly think on your feet is very underrated in my opinion. Being on a small island all by yourself is sometimes better than being on a big island with lots of people. Subscribe.